20 years ago this happened to me, and although it was a long time ago, it still gives me the chills. I've never told anyone about it until now. I thought if perhaps I shared it, then it might help to stop the vivid memories when they attack. Lately, I've been having nightmares about what happened that night in June. In my vivid dreams, I see her again, standing on the side of the road, her thumb out as if to hitch a ride. But that's not what actually happened. It didn't happen like that. On that night, when my life was forever changed and my ideas about the world altered, I was driving home from work at 11 p.m. My apartment was a 20-minute drive from work, and that time of night, the motorways are usually thick with trucks, so I always preferred the back road, the Gorge. The only problem is, it isn't well lit, and the darkness devours all. The road is desolate and scary, the corners hazardous. Many people have lost their lives along the Gorge Road. It's a maddening 100-foot drop off one side and a crumbling cliff face on the other. Silence was too much, so I reached for the dial to turn on the CD player. The Cure burst through the speakers. I saw her on the side of the road. I nearly ran her down. I slammed on the brakes and skidded to an abrupt stop. My heart was in my mouth. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I was in shock. Did I just hit someone? What the hell just happened? A panic attack was starting, and I desperately needed to breathe. I screwed my eyes closed, shaking my head, releasing some of the pressure. Slowly, my heart rate decreased, and I was able to exhale. I opened my eyes, and the bonnet was up. I slightly hit the embankment. Thoughts flooded my mind. Was she dead? I was on a blind corner, and I needed to move the car. So I got out, slammed the bonnet, and ran back to the safety of the car, locking all of the doors. I gripped the steering wheel hard, started the car, and backed up very slowly. I slid back smoothly, and it seemed to be working better than I thought it would. Moving the car slightly forward onto the shoulder, I turned it off, grabbed the flashlight from the glove box, and exited the car. Then, I saw her, lying on the side of the road. The scene was horrendous. There was blood everywhere. She was crawling towards me, and a chill ran down my spine. She was a bloody mess. Half of her face was scraped off, her skin hanging off, and bits of flesh ripped and sliding down her body. I must have dragged her for some distance. It scraped her raw, but I didn't feel the car hit her. She was wearing a dress, but it was torn to shreds and covered in gore and blood. I'd never seen anything so god-awful in my life. It was dark, and I was shivering. Icicles tingled inside my brain. The hand I held the flashlight in was shaking so bad. It took both hands to hold it steady. "Help me!" she screamed. Hearing her voice humanized her. It broke me out of the spell, and I rushed over to her and fell to my knees beside her. I couldn't distinguish her facial features. The globs of gore and ripped skin made me gag. I held it in. My first thought was, I needed to get her in the car so that I could take her to the hospital. I braced myself to carry her, but the copious amounts of blood made her slip from my grasp. I dropped the flashlight, and in its light, beheld a figure so ghastly I vomited. I ran to the car for something to put around her, but only found the dog blanket. It smelled like Titan, my bulldog, who fortunately was at home with my husband, waiting anxiously for my return. "Here, I'll wrap this around you," I said as I placed it across her bare shoulders. It started to drizzle. It wouldn't be long until the rain started. I didn't have much time. She could die out here. After wrapping her, I put her gently over my shoulder. She was relatively light. I opened the back door and laid her down. "I'm taking you to the hospital. Please stay awake. You need help," I said. The rain arrived heavy as I drove. I watched her in the rearview mirror. She was moaning, holding herself in contorted pain. I hit the pedal with my foot, sending us fast towards the hospital. I needed her to hang on until we could find help. "Stay with me," I yelled at her, over and over. Soon enough, her moans turned into agonizing cries and pleads for help. As soon as I swung the car into an ambulance bay, I put my hand on the horn and left it there blaring until help finally arrived. They came running, nurses and paramedics. A doctor opened my door, and his yells for me to turn off the car finally reached my ears. I ceased screaming, and the woman in the back had fallen silent. In slow motion, the present situation imploded all around me. As I became aware, came back to my senses. Miss, what's the matter?" "The woman in the back seat. I accidentally hit her with my car on Gorge Road," I replied. Shakes afflicted my body. The confusion on his face after peeking over into the back seat startled me. She must be dead, I was thinking. Otherwise, he'd be rushing to pull her from the car. But they all suddenly started backing away. "What's the matter? She needs your help. She's bleeding everywhere. Where are you going?" I yelled at them, shocked that they were leaving me alone with the woman. It was pointless. They walked back into the hospital, leaving me sitting there, aghast. I was too scared to look in the back. Fear gripped me hard. Tremors racked my body, sending it into a spasm. Tears of fear flooded and drenched me. I slowly turned around, holding my breath. I wish I hadn't turned around. The back seat was empty. There was no dying lady. There was no blood covering everything. It never happened. I sat there for a while, shocked, sporadically turning on the heater for warmth. Since I couldn't come up with a reasonable explanation, I drove home. The strange thing is, I was home right on time. Dinner was ready, and I had not lost any time at all. I still think about that night and wonder, was it a ghost of someone who had lost their life on the Gorge? Yesterday, something peculiar happened, and it scared me a little, to be honest. I think I saw her in the mirror in my bathroom. It was probably just mist. I hope. Social media can be very unpredictable, especially regarding horror content. If this content gets removed, all new content will be simultaneously presented on various websites provided in the description to this video. Make sure to follow me in other digital spaces so that you never miss out on the terror. Also, if you like this video, make sure to leave a comment and hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy what's here, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. Writing is a dream of mine, and it's all of you that make that dream come true.